Back in 2013, Electronic Arts and Disney agreed on an exclusive deal for the Star Wars license. This deal reportedly would last 10 years, and at the time would have EA publish Star Wars games developed by Visceral Games, DICE, and BioWare. Remember, this is back in 2013 before, well, Visceral got shut down and EA purchased Respawn. The agreement would cover titles aimed at core gamers on all interactive platforms, but Disney retained the rights to make casual and social games in the Star Wars universe on mobile devices, tablets, and the web. Probably the most important piece of information of this deal, the terms, were never disclosed, but there's an assumption that somewhere in the document that EA signed, Disney left a term like, if you damage the Star Wars brand, we have the right to revoke the license, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. If you haven't been following along, Star Wars Battlefront 2 has been pretty close to a disaster which Electronic Arts caused by pushing their agenda of greed too far down our throats. Star Wars Battlefront 2, when announced, had tons of excitement, but when the beta came around, worries started to set in, as there clearly were pay-to-win elements. But Electronic Arts promised that they were listening, and only a few days before launch, things just got a whole lot worse. When players started to hear that EA did not fix the pay-to-win elements, they just made it worse. This has also led to EA receiving the most downvoted Reddit response ever, and the first line of the response, quote-unquote, "The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment." Well, this is going to stay with EA for years. But this whole debacle over Battlefront 2's microtransactions and the progression caused uproar and anger, something that we have not seen before, at least around this issue. We had websites like the BBC and CNN reporting on this, as well as the hundreds of other websites. This all led to Disney finally intervening because this is their franchise and they do not like Star Wars receiving negative attention, especially with Episode 8 right around the corner. It's been reported that Bob Iger, Disney's chief executive, was alarmed by the backlash from fans over how Battlefront 2's microtransactions were implemented, and this led to Jimmy Pitaro, the head of consumer products and interactive media at Disney, contacting EA, detailing the company's concerns about the situation.
What is this, amateur hour?
Which led to EA turning the microtransactions offline temporarily, but the damage was done, and it's not like this is the only controversy EA has been under fire for. Many fans were disappointed and angered at 2015 Star Wars Battlefront and the lack of content that arrived at launch, and in 2016 Visceral Games, whom was developing their own linear Star Wars game in the spirit of Uncharted, was shut down. Reportedly, there were internal issues, but the fact that EA was turning this linear Star Wars game into a games as service, which pretty much means there will be microtransactions, and the game was either going open world or having a multiplayer, was a clear sign of corporate greed and not what gamers wanted. So as you can see, things have not been going very well, and it's believed that the backlash EA received will continue forward. Outside of Star Wars, recently EA has also angered fans with how they implemented microtransactions and Need for Speed Payback, causing uproar from the community, and again complaints of pay-to-win mechanics, leading to EA once again making some massive adjustments. Now, it's been close to 2 weeks since Star Wars Battlefront 2 launched, and it looks like the uproar and anger from the community may have put a large dent in game sales and EA's own stock. It's been reported that month to date through Tuesday, EA's stock is down 8.5%, which has evaporated $3.1 billion in shareholder value. It's also been reported UK physical sales during the first week reportedly were down 61% versus sales of the first game. A Wall Street analyst also noted that they were disappointed by the sell-through of Battlefront 2 through the Black Friday weekend. Aside from just community uproar and the game not performing well, it's also been very publicly noted that governments from all around the world are investigating the predatory practices of Electronic Arts.
This game is a Star Wars themed online casino designed to lure kids into spending money. It's a trap.
This includes Belgium, Australia, France, the United Kingdom, and the United States. No matter the outcome of these investigations and how well Star Wars Battlefront 2 does moving forward, the damage is done. This now leads us into our main topic, which is, will Disney revoke EA's Star Wars license, and well, fans are calling out for that. A petition on change.org is gaining traction. At the time of recording, it currently sits at 50,000 plus signatures. This petition cites a lot of the things I've mentioned thus far, such as the underwhelming 2015 installment of Star Wars Battlefront, Visceral Games' linear Star Wars title being canned instead for a games as service, and obviously the whole controversy with Battlefront 2. So from all of this, is this enough to take the license away from EA? The answer is potentially yes. Aside from just the games mentioned before, remember, Electronic Arts also developed Star Wars The Old Republic back in 2011, before their current deal with Disney, but this game is still running 6 years later as it is an MMO on PC with, I believe, annual updates, and it currently currently has some favorable reviews from critics, and it seems for the most part positive reviews from fans. Also back in 2015, Electronic Arts published a mobile game called Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which, well, it's a mobile free-to-play game with mixed reviews. So from all of these games, the Old Republic, Galaxy of Heroes, and the 2 Battlefront games, EA just hasn't done much with this license thus far. Say as you wish, but 4 years into this deal, this has just been pretty close to a disaster. EA's greed has prevented anything worthwhile getting made. An IP that is this well known and popular, especially with the movies releasing right now, should not be getting mediocre, unfinished games pushed out. This really makes me wonder what an Obsidian Entertainment or Bethesda Game Studios or CD Projekt Red or any other developer could have done with this license. The sad truth is, the current Electronic Arts isn't going to be pushing anything like Star Wars 1313 or Jedi Academy or Knights of the Old Republic out. What's in store for us with EA's Star Wars games moving forward just doesn't sound like anything to get excited for. With Respawn now owned by EA, many feel that their upcoming Star Wars title could be something similar to Battlefront 2, with it being a multiplayer microtransaction driven experience. Other than that, we don't really know at all what is to come, but thus far with the attitude and approach EA has had, there is nothing to be hopeful about. This Star Wars property deserves respect, and right now it just deserves better, and it truly feels like EA is not capable of that. So right now I would say on Disney's part, it would be smart to put an end to this dumpster fire, because I fear if this deal continues forward, all we're going to get is what we've gotten in the last 4 years, which is just 4 mediocre games that are going to be forgotten. Anyway guys, maybe you have a differing opinion. What do you think about Disney's deal with EA? Should they nix it or not? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also make sure to smack that like button if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and consider subscribing for videos on huge upcoming games, and I'll see you later.